Good evening to the humans of Earth. How is everybody tonight? I hope everybody's doing great. My name is Seth. My friends call me Silky, and this is Sovereign Starseed. This is my channel about cryptocurrencies. Currently, that's like the big topic that we're talking about. Also sovereignty, and we also like to talk a lot about spirituality as well too. And so first, I'd like to just go ahead and start off by saying a couple of affirmations. First, I just want to go ahead and say, if you feel like this is something that you're into, or you feel like this is something that you could benefit from, or you feel that it applies to you, go ahead and just repeat after me here. Pull them up. Okay, cool. So yeah, so I'm just taking a look here. Oh, okay. Mango's already up here. Ray's in the house. Hey, greetings everybody. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. It's gonna be a good show. I'm just trying to make sure that everything else is getting set up and it's all good. Yeah, it looks like we're all good. Okay, guys, thank you for joining me. So, first of all, what was going on earlier? Why are we streaming late? Well, basically, we had planned an event earlier and we didn't have the turnout that we expected. And so we weren't recording the event. And we basically just had a really good discussion. It was really nice. Got to see got to meet some excellent people and hear about some great perspectives on cryptocurrency, on the world going forward, things like that. And so, yeah, because of that, I'm just now getting home, getting everything all set up, and now getting ready to go ahead and stream for it tonight. But normally, tomorrow night, we should be returning back to our normal scheduled time, 10 p.m. Mountain and 5 o'clock Universal. All right, so anyways, first, just to go ahead and get into a couple of things here. Bitcoin is currently at like 97.50 per Bitcoin, and this is pretty good because I think 48 to 72 hours ago it was 87.50, so it's gone up $1,000 in less than 48 hours, actually less than 72 hours, and I think that's pretty intense. That's pretty amazing, and I want to just go ahead and talk a little bit about that and just basically say that, right now it's at $10,000 in some markets on the globe. There's some places in, I think, South Korea right now that's already trading at $10,000. And who knows, by the end of this stream, it could be doing the same thing. It could be up there here in the US markets as well. So, what I want to go ahead and talk about is that I have some concerns over the current price and about how fast it's increasing. And I definitely foresaw that this price would be here. I just feel that, the rate at which we're approaching it is a little concerning. And I just want to go ahead and explain to you guys, anybody that's watching for the first time or tuning in, about what the purpose of forks are and what forks are. So basically what happens is whenever Bitcoin decides to make a fundamental change in the code, what it has to do is it has to stop the track that it's on, and it has to duplicate its blockchain and start another track that's there. And I actually take that back already. It doesn't even stop the track. All it does is it duplicates the blockchain. So it makes the Bitcoin blockchain two blockchains. And they call the new blockchain something different, and it has different properties than the original blockchain. And it spins off and it goes off and it does its own thing. And that's how Bitcoin Cash was created. That's how Bitcoin Gold was created. And next, what's coming out now is there have now been Bitcoin Diamond coins that are flooding the market. And Bitcoin Diamond coins are now another fork that's coming off of Bitcoin that is continuously making the price of Bitcoin go up. And the reason for that is because so many people are hoarding their assets across different cryptocurrencies into Bitcoin. Because every time that a fork is created, if you hold your Bitcoin on a participating wallet or an exchange that's participating in the fork, then what you do is you usually get, if you have like one Bitcoin, you get the equivalent amount of whatever the new currency that's being created. You get the equivalent amount of that in Bitcoin that you had held on that participating exchange. One second. Excuse me. So, if you have any questions about that, ask, stop me, because I'll be happy to explain. So basically what happens is, an example is, whenever you are so let's say when Bitcoin Cash was created back in like August, I think, either July or August, something like that, Bitcoin Cash was a new fork that was coming off of Bitcoin, and there was all these emails that were being sent out, and it was basically saying like, hey, if you hold your Bitcoin on this exchange, then we will give you the equivalent amount of Bitcoin Cash on that exchange, just for holding your Bitcoin there. And so a whole bunch of money was, yes, essentially created out of thin air. However, with Bitcoin Cash, as we could see, the price of that has been pretty successful, as well as not just Bitcoin Cash, but Bitcoin Gold. Just did that a few weeks ago, and I participated in that. If you're watching the channel, that was pretty cool because we participated in that as well. And so if you were holding one Bitcoin on an exchange, then you would get one Bitcoin Cash coin on that same exchange. If you were holding 25.5 Bitcoin on an exchange or a wallet that was participating in the Bitcoin Gold fork, you would get 25.5 Bitcoin Gold coins or tokens. Does that make sense? So from that's where these forks are created. Now, whenever this comes out, this is essentially, like I was saying, free money coming out of nowhere. And what that's doing is that's driving a whole lot of people to allocate their cryptocurrency assets all up into Bitcoin, so that way they can get their free stuff, their free money, right? So let's talk about that a little bit. What does that do to like the markets? Many things, and the things I'm talking about right now could easily be debated, and there are as many ways to look at this as there are brains. Okay, so like I know that there are so many ways to look at this, and this is just one man's way of seeing it, and my opinion can change at any time, and I like to reserve that right. So from that, what I could just say is that when this new currency is created, it starts to dilute the value of the currency, of the original currency that it was based on. And so when Bitcoin Cash was created, a whole bunch of people decided to keep their Bitcoin Cash, and now they are making money with it. There were a whole bunch of people on the day that Bitcoin Cash was created decided to sell it, and they sold it off right away, and they absorbed it right back into Bitcoin. Okay, and then when Bitcoin Gold came out, people did the same thing. So that is a reason and an incentive for people to hold their tokens in Bitcoin. Okay, and as these new forks are created, and as these new tokens are created off the Bitcoin blockchain, that's where the value of Bitcoin is going to essentially keep on driving the price of this higher and higher and higher. Okay? like the temptations, higher and higher. Okay, so we're gonna see 10K. It's already trading at 10K in Korea. So what's interesting about this is that, and it's traded at 10K a few months ago in Zimbabwe, who currently right now is saying that Bitcoin is illegal, but they also are in such unrest they don't even have a president. So because of that, there's a lot of different things that are going on that are changing up all of it. And it's very important for us to end up staying aware of this type of stuff because, Bitcoin Desk putting out this really cool article today. $10,000 today, Bitcoin price primed to break psychological barrier. Okay, so $10,000 is an interesting number numerologically in people's heads. Like I was saying last night and a few other times, people like seeing even numbers. Do you know how many orders are going to be placed for Bitcoin at $10,000? There are going to be so many people that are going to be like, all right, as soon as it hits $10,000, I'll buy some. And they're standing on the sidelines, ready to go. If you guys have already been following the moves on this channel, you guys are already in, and that's amazing. And you know what's even cooler? Even buying in at 10K is not a bad thing. And so that's what I'm trying to get at here is that there's breaking psychological barriers left and right. It has proven people wrong left and right. It's proven other people right, left and right and left. And so because of that, this is something that's very interesting to think about, but it's also something to be aware of because now there's going to be another fork that's being created and it's called Bitcoin Diamond. Okay? Now Bitcoin Diamond has different traits than Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Gold. And hey, Afi, hey, good evening. So glad you were able to make it with us tonight. So, stick around. We're just talking about some cryptocurrency news. So glad you were able to make it here. Hey, we're going to start doing something cool. Where are you from and how active is cryptocurrency where you're at? Throw up those two answers in chat. Let's see what we got going on. Let's see what kind of mix we got tonight. So, anyways, yeah, just think about that, guys. Is that we're about to hit $10,000. There's going to be massive money flooding the market, and it's going to keep going. Salam. So yeah, so basically, what's so interesting about this is that $10,000 is where it's going to start to hit mass adoption. We're hitting mass adoption. Bitcoin Diamond is a huge reason why people are holding all of their assets in Bitcoin right now. After the fork, a whole bunch of those cryptocurrency assets are going to spread back out from Bitcoin back into Ethereum, back into these other currencies. However, there are these other currencies that have already been gaining a lot of push. Talk to Mango about Litecoin. You know what I mean? This is something that's awesome because right here what we're saying is that these things are definitely going to start to flood back into the market outside of Bitcoin once these forks complete. At least that's what I've seen in the past. However, now there's so much money inside of Bitcoin that it may just stay at Bitcoin. Litecoin at 91, okay, heard. Yep, see, it's staying strong. And there's going to be new features building into Litecoin here soon. So that's what's so amazing, guys. And so thinking about that, it's just interesting. It's huge. It's huge to see this. So you're going to start to see so much more money flooding the market. Did I hear the coolest Christmas gift probably being a little bit of Bitcoin? Yeah, dude. That's probably going to end up being one of the best gifts you could give somebody. Help them get in. And then you could end up maybe even seeing if that's a charitable tax write-off where you live. I don't know. I'm not a tax advisor. It's just something interesting to think about. So, all right, check this out. So next in Bitcoin news, Bitcoin, it's just right here, now worth more than Nike, Disney, McDonald's, and IBM. Derided by most financial analysts for years, Bitcoin has surged dramatically in 2017 and now has a higher market cap than that of most corporations. Here we go. It's already taken over. 33 billion, 135 billion, 152 for Boeing, 158 for MasterCard. That's disgusting. That's disgusting. And Bitcoin, oh, 300, 300. It's like dwarfed all of these. The only way it has value is if the next guy is willing to pay you more for it, the greater fool. With no intrinsic value to Bitcoin, it's hard to see this as anything other than a giant speculative bubble. Well, it's just when people start to follow things like this channel more often and they start to educate themselves more on this, that's when they'll see that this is not bad at all. And this is actually some of the best stuff that you could ever partake in. Let me get that lighting a little more correct. So, hi family. What's up team? What's up squad? So glad that we're all hanging out tonight. So this is just really interesting. $160 billion market cap for Bitcoin. I don't even know if that's correct. Let me just see, because like we were just doing something the other day about how Bitcoin was higher, way higher than 160. 166? Oh, my bad. Not 300. I was probably doing like some volume reporting or something like that. Or a different coin. But 166, so there you go. Look at that. Wow. That is just such a good investment right there. Amazing. Ripple is up. American Express signed on with Ripple. Litecoin up. Look at that. Very nice. IOTA going up. Internet of People. Okay. Neo's having some interesting rocky moments right now, but it's okay. It's definitely on its up, and it's gonna keep going up. It's a sleeping giant. What some people are saying. Stellar lumens. Duh. This thing is just like doesn't go down. So, as you can see, this type of thing. Oh, and let's go ahead and take a look at that scam that everybody talks about. Here's Bitconnect. Bitconnect still trading at 297. Dang, look at that dip. Oh my goodness. Imagine buying that discount. And then it going back up to almost $300 per coin. Dang. Let's look at that right there. Let's just analyze that real fast. That is like, what happened? $224. Man, 224 is what it went down to. 222 on November 13th. On November 13th, if you would have bought 222, if you would have bought like 100 of these tokens at $222, and it went up to, it was over 300, 302, you would have definitely would have made oh man, $80 per token. $800. It's late. Math is taking a second. All right, so and that's really interesting, guys. Isn't that interesting? That's so cool to see that, like, how Bitcoin went down on that dip. I wonder what happened there. It's crazy. Let's see what happened. You can go over here to the social area, and you can see when they were talking about stuff. So we'll go back to the 13th. Some more tweets. Goldman Sachs thinks Bitcoin could soon be worth nearly $8,000. Isn't that crazy to think about how that was just recent? That came out on November 10th. That came out earlier this month. No currency traded on Forex has any intrinsic value. Bitcoin is the only currency which the value of has been determined and supported by all of its users. No other. Absolutely. Absolutely. You're exactly right. Right. And so so that's beautiful. So as you can see around here, this is kind of what I do for research, guys, when I'm looking into a coin, and I'm just kind of like, oh, let's look at the history. Let's see what happened. Why did it crash then? And usually what you would do is we would end up having our orders set up on exchanges already at those prices, like way down at 222, so that we just get it. You know what I mean? And, following this channel, we'll be getting into more of that soon. Next in news, I just want to go ahead and talk about the Bitcoinist.com is putting out this really interesting article today. Rentberry, the long-awaited innovation in the long-term home rental industry. So Rentberry is a decentralized home rental platform that helps landlords and tenants improve their rental experiences by automating all rental tasks and providing the new approach to rental security deposits and tenant screening. Founded in 2015, in less than 2 years, it secured its status of a convenient and transparent accelerator of long-term rental processes for everyone involved. How does it solve the problems? Current rental policies rely on outdated procedures. Marketing, retail, and logistics have already been improved with these technologies. The goal of Rentberry is to do the same for the rental industry. We are convinced that long-term rental space is the next industry to be disrupted by technologies, and our entire team believes that blockchain and smart contracts are the inherent part of the upcoming innovation. Here at Rentberry, our goal is to make both landlords and tenants enjoy a fully decentralized rental experience that includes an open and transparent application process, crowdsourced security deposit network, dang, wow, like Owen Wilson, instant rent payments, internationally valid tenant and landlord scores, to name a few. Wow, this is cool, guys. So let me just ask you this. How many times have you ever might have been discriminated upon or against, or you may not have just been able to get that apartment or house or shelter that you wanted, and you never quite knew why? Isn't that annoying? Don't you wish you could just get some feedback? How you could do it better? Usually I got some lip service like, oh, nothing's wrong, Seth. There was just a better couple that wanted to get it over you. And I'm like, I thought people didn't like couples. 'Cause they break up, But dang, if you've ever had that, think about this. What if you had like a crowdsourced security deposit network, instant rent payments that just pull right off of your wallet, internationally valid and tenant and landlord scores. So think about that. You can have a score on a blockchain where it's like, yo, a 3.5 renter, and you could get a score and then be able to go and rent anywhere in the world based on that score, and people could end up looking at the blockchain at that. Are there positives and negatives to this? I think definitely. I absolutely think so. What are some of the negatives? First, I would like to say that it could end up driving a lot of fakeness and insincerity to a lot of contracts and rental agreements due to people just wanting to get a good score, similar to how Uber drivers, try to sometimes go overboard with all the water and the candy and the gum and the lights and the taxes and the people doing your taxes and laughing at your jokes and everything. And you're just like, it's okay, bro, I'll give you 5 stars. You know what I'm saying? You could start to experience something like that with your landlord and with tenants if you are a property owner. You could also, what are some other negatives to that? There could also end up being some things that are recorded on the blockchain that both parties want to take down, and they may not have that option. So from that, like that's definitely something that we're gonna have to learn. We're gonna have to adopt, and we're not gonna get a solid business model right off the ground. That's gonna take a long time. But as long as we're willing to work on it and we don't give up, I think some of the benefits from that might outweigh some of the detriments. Some of the benefits being, people now can, just go places without even really needing to end up trusting each other intrinsically, just like we were saying, or they can just now trust a blockchain intrinsically. Don't get me wrong, I'm definitely for like one of the worlds where like we're all, unifying and we're all able to talk to each other freely without holding back. But I also think that, when people are away from their property, they can keep their property listed as a rental space, kind of like what an Airbnb would do right now. And then that way, then somebody could pay a blockchain, and then they could take some of that from the blockchain and pay rent in like 5 different countries all throughout the month. And then you can really travel really fast. Rental pools might be possible. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That would be awesome, right? I would love that. Think about timeshares, little cabins off in the woods, that type of stuff. Man, that's so cool. So, there's going to be some positives, there's going to be some negatives, but as long as we continue to adopt ourselves to honoring ourselves and honoring this technology at the same time, honoring ourselves first, because I don't want the technology to overtake us, or else we'll end up with some matrix stuff, you know what I mean? But yeah, like that's something that's really, really good. And so Rentberry, good job. I'm glad that they're wanting to take that on and make it easier for all of us, because now we are all going to benefit from renting going forward due to people like this sticking up. Good job. Got a thumbs up from Starseed for sure. Next, Bitcoinist.com talks about how Bitcoin miners consume more electricity than 19 European countries. So this is pretty interesting, and I definitely foresaw this coming. It says, over the past few years, Bitcoin's difficulty and hash rates have steadily risen exponentially. So too has the electricity consumption of Bitcoin miners has risen as well, which is causing some concern among experts. So this is electricity consumption versus global Bitcoin mining electricity consumption. And this is less than is the orange places. Wow, these countries use less electricity than the global Bitcoin um, electricity consumption. So it's an interesting title, and you have to like really kind of pick that apart. But it's pretty interesting. And you know what else I think is that, yeah, they're definitely going to raise the price of electricity. And because of that, there's going to now be new algorithms that are going to come out. There's going to be tokens that are going to come out that are going to be compatible with solar electricity. So make sure that you look for tokens that are proud of the fact that they can be mined at low voltages. Neo is one of them, because I can mine Neo on an Android device right now, and I can show you guys how you can mine Neo tokens on Android devices, and you can power Android devices with solar panels fairly easy. And so from that, you can actually earn Bitcoin for free without paying any electricity cost. 100% passive profit, no costs. And I'm sure you can look up a YouTube video on how that can be made. So I definitely foresee as well that, this is a graphics card. These are the cards that do the mining specifically. But, I definitely foresee this not being the end. I think that our planet is going to have to start to adjust what we do with our electricity. And there is going to be a point where we're going to have to stop mining. cryptocurrencies. There will be a point where we are going to evolve past this. And I think that's beautiful to speak of. However, as it is at this time, I feel that cryptocurrencies are very relevant on the planet and very necessary for a lot of us to unify together and for all of us to get out of our separation and out of the little areas and compartments that we're in, whether that be divided by country, race, religion, gender, beliefs, anything, any of it. And we can all pull ourselves away from being in those areas and just being like, hey, I participated in Ethereum. I participated in Calicoin. There's going to be all kinds of different groups of people that are now going to form off of their intentions being more healthy and beautiful. And then, eventually they're going to end up just like more unifying further and further together. And then at some point we'll end up being able to evolve past cryptocurrency. And that's an interesting question to ask as well. What do you guys think might be the next type of technology that would take over the planet after cryptocurrencies? Can you even conceive it? It's hard for me to conceive, but I think a lot of it would almost be like pure energy would be exchanged, and you could almost see the energy, because by that time we would be so spiritually aware. And that's the other part that we have to do. We have to become spiritually aware. We can't just, not look at this with our hearts. When we look at cryptocurrency and all these computer chips and graphics cards and electricity costs and all this stuff, we also have to look at it with open hearts and see that this is something that spiritually is waking us up as well. And it's not meant to stay around forever. I think the last Bitcoin is going to be mined in the year 2040 or 2140. One of the two. But yeah, very interesting, very interesting. And this is definitely going to get better, because these countries are just going to have to, increase their solar power efficiency just by a little bit, and they will definitely really start to end up driving home getting on this list where Bitcoin is more expensive to mine than this whole country's cost. And when that starts to become a prevalent thing on our planet, we will change. We will change into something that's different. So that's interesting. And we're going to value electricity differently. So next, in cryptocurrency news, I just wanted to talk about Bitcoin. It says, Bitcoin is a perfect currency beyond the reach of any nation, state, or cooperative effort to defeat it. This is Max Kaiser. I am a fan. Thank you, Max, for saying this right now. I don't remember if he's always been the same, if his position has always been the same on Bitcoin. I don't remember if I always had the same opinion of Max Kaiser, but I definitely like him right now. Although many experts still believe that Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency market as a whole may be in a bubble state, Max Kaiser believes that Bitcoin still has room to grow. Can Bitcoin reach 25K? Yes. When do you think Bitcoin will reach 25K? What do y'all think? We're going to see, I predicted 10K by Christmas, and we may see it by December 1st. Probably before then, guys. $1,000 in the last 72 hours. That's crazy. So I think 25,000 would probably be reached around May. It maybe would take even next Christmas, and then maybe even next May 2019. Within 12 to 24 months. But that's such a broad scope that I'd like to really just rather put some bets on it and say July. 100K. 2025. All right. Yeah. That's confidence. I like that. Dude, of course. Of course it is. Because the other thing is these governments are realizing their paper money is just not as fast as this stuff. And so it's going to reach 100K by 2025. But here's the other thing. in the year 2025, are we still going to be looking at the price of Bitcoin in dollars? If we are, we will help you. Let's help each other. Let's make sure. Another thing that's very important for us to see right now is that looking at Bitcoin in terms of dollars value is just something that I kind of look at kind of like a hobby. But I also just know that everything's going to switch over to it at some point anyways. So looking at it in terms of dollars right now really kind of does me a disservice. So I just kind of look at Bitcoins with how many have been released, when the next halving rate is happening, and when new like places start to accept it more and it reaches critical mass. That's all I pay attention to. And I think it's amazing because, like, yeah, we're about to hit 10K. It's amazing. So yeah, get it, Max. So that's definitely it. And he's talking about the sovereignty of it. You know, it's changing global finance. It's putting banksters and central banks out of business, like what I've been saying this whole time. I think we are seeing fiat currencies hyperinflation against Bitcoin. Up until that prices are achieved, it looks like we'll see a pretty strong upward move. So yeah, the feds must keep printing dollars until the generations who have been duped by them die off. Absolutely. And it's going to be up to us to do our job to help them comprehend this, because we are going to be one of the generations that need to give something up in order for our posterity to evolve forward at some point someday. And I just want some young kid to come up to me and be like, hey, don't worry, Silky, I got you. Let me teach you about hoverboards. Let me teach you about teleportation devices. Because I don't want to see you walk into the store all the time. And none of us do it. And it's been safe, it's been tested. And I'll be like, all right, cool, let's test it. So it's interesting. This is really cool. Yeah, Max Kaiser's definitely seeing it reach 25,000. Guys, it's going to be 100,000. It's going to be 1,000,000. But at some point in your mind, in your heart, you're not really going to be looking at it in dollars. You're just going to be like, man, I love that I am participating in this. And you're going to love every Satoshi that you get. And that's when each Satoshi is going to raise in value. And we're going to just start to really, really value the Satoshis a lot differently. Now, here's the next thing. I still have concerns over Satoshi Nakamoto, who he is, and who it is, and also how close this plays into the world controller's game on trying to create a one world currency. Now, because of that, I'm very interested in finding and paying attention to, pretty soon, other cryptocurrencies that do not get their backing from Bitcoin, and they try to value themselves just with themselves. And that might be a token that isn't exchanged on an exchange, because to do that would mean that you would want to back it on Bitcoin. So what I'm trying to say is that make sure that you're not giving Bitcoin too much power, because anything can happen. And it's just us being smart. With how much I say that I love it, I also want to say that as well, because we gotta be smart. Okay, so yeah, it's amazing. Next, I just kind of want to talk about this because on December 15th, it's going to happen. So the end of net neutrality means ISPs could crack down on Bitcoin, guys. Experts worry that net neutrality repeals could affect everyone's favorite magic internet money. Cryptocurrencies are still in their infancy. I think you're right. Who is Nakamoto? Tis Bitcoin, the New World Order. In the future, I think there will be water tokens. Exactly, Ray. And I'm not blind to this. Okay, team? I'm not blind. I see it. I've seen it the whole time. When I was introduced to this stuff back in 2010, I was all like, nah, dude, I don't know. Until I know who Satoshi Nakamoto is, no. But then I also understand that, first of all, we operate with good faith. And we say in our hearts that it's possible that Satoshi Nakamoto is a person or a group of people that was seeing how everybody was under a lot of pressure and decided to release a small document to help out. Also, I could end up saying that at the same time, Satoshi Nakamoto could be something that's like the NSA, could be something else that's data collecting and just trying to get us all using the same currency. And that's why other currencies are created. And that's why currencies that don't get their backing from Bitcoin are going to be very valuable in the future to the right people. So water tokens, yes. Shelter coin, already a thing. You can look it up. Shelter coin was made at Burning Man. It's just amazing. So because of that, guys, it's just like, please contact your state representatives, because if the FCC has so much power that they're going to try to prioritize the internet, which they've publicly said they're going to do, then we're going to have to be struggling to try to create that decentralized internet. So far, Made Safe Coin and a couple other coins are trying to get on this. So it would be valuable for me just to go ahead and put some of my cryptocurrencies, some of my Bitcoin, into other coins like Made Safe Coin and some of those other things. I'm not making that move yet. Do your own research. Definitely invest only that which you plan, which you can afford to lose, and you'll be safe. But, with this, what I could say is that it's beautiful, because with Bitcoin, I found investment vehicles that have now inflated my Bitcoin so far that I've now been able to buy into other projects with funds that I would never have had if I was trading on the stock market. And I do trade on the stock market. But geez, those gains compared to cryptocurrencies, oh my goodness. So, what do you guys think? What could net neutrality cause for Bitcoin? Do you think that it would definitely cost miners a lot more money? Because now miners are using a significant amount of not only just bandwidth, but electricity too. And they put off a lot of heat. Think about it. Perhaps we will trade in currents. C. Monetary units of flowing natural energies. Currently, we trade in current events with prices controlled by the mints who print the news. Nothing's new under the sun. Who will be king? Who can monetize fun? Love, the stars above the sun and the moon. The end of the paradigm of money soon. Yo. Hashtag bars. Bars right there, bro. Absolutely. That's beautiful. Exactly. And like you see what Ray's talking about there, he's breaking down words. And that's another thing that we love to do on this channel too, is etymologies and the history of our words. Because when we know where we come from, we can also know where we're going. And we can also know where we're at. And we can prevent our mistakes from becoming cycles. So for that, I just want you guys to see that we have a free internet right now. You're getting this stream to you across a free, uncensored, and neutral internet right now. Please don't take that for granted, and please contact your representatives, because there will probably be protests going on from this. There's going to be so many bad things that will come from that. So, there we are. What do you think it could mean for Bitcoin? Do you think that you would end up having to pay a Bitcoin package fee to your ISP and your cell phone carrier just because you have a Coinbase wallet? Just because you want to make a couple trades? When I want to remind you guys that these cryptocurrencies When it was introduced to me, they were introduced to me to be like, no, these are for peer-to-peer. This is to decentralize things and keep things cheap and keep things free and keep things open. So just, you know what I'm saying? Remember that. Anyways, next in the news, an update on the fight for the free and open internet. If you guys spent any time on Reddit the last week, you may have noticed a common theme in posts on the front page, so we wanted to take a moment to recap what's happened so far in the fight for net neutrality. So they want to underline what's important and share what they plan to do. But basically, on Tuesday, FCC Chairman Ajit announced his intention to vote on a full rollback of the 2015 net neutrality rules. While the pre-Thanksgiving timing of the announcement might have helped the news sneak by over the holidays, you all have helped prevent that from happening. Aside from ensuring that net neutrality was discussed IRL around this is in real life, around Thanksgiving tables across the country, you brought the conversation about the open internet to almost every community on the site. This is on Reddit. From Data Is It Beautiful to Trash Pandas, you made high quality GIFs, flooded the meme market, explained the issue to people who are out of the loop, and given a history of why net neutrality rules are essential. Don't even get me started on that. In just 1 week, you made 50,000 unique posts and over 350,000 comments related to net neutrality, generating over 21 million votes. While Tuesday's news hits close to home, we are grateful that the Reddit community cares just as much about net neutrality as we do at Reddit HQ. As many of you know, the FCC's vote will happen on December 14th and is expected to pass. However, the vote is also expected to be challenged almost immediately in court, likely kicking off a long process that will take years to work through. During this time, Congress will likely try to legislate a fix. As a still small company that owes its existence to net neutrality's giving us a fair chance in the marketplace, Reddit will take every opportunity to share our perspective and give constructive input to the process. The data says that Americans don't see this as a partisan issue, and neither do we. Most of the activism right now is focused on driving messages to Congress and the FCC before December 14th, including a protest the day before the vote. The FCC has received a record 22 million comments on net neutrality, but has indicated they have not reviewed comments that don't introduce new facts into the record or make serious legal arguments. Additionally, they believe a number of the comments are fake. You know what? The FCC is the ones that created the ones that are fake. But it doesn't mean you don't need to look through every single one of them before making a decision. What does that mean? Does that mean that you're only going to look through certain votes and certain comments, and those ones are important, meanwhile the rest of them aren't? No. That's not fair. And that's where a blockchain could help. If we could just see the data start to roll into a transparent blockchain on a decision like this, then dang, that would be amazing. That would be amazing. If any of you guys can find a blockchain, oh my gosh, that's making me think right now. Net neutrality related blockchain. What do you think about that? Everybody's just talking about like how it could hurt it. But what if we had a blockchain that was dedicated to keeping things free? That would be amazing. We could see the data, we could vote on something like this and not even need to have the FCC do it for us. You see what I mean, guys? We don't have our sovereignty because the FCC is trying to end up voting on what the internet is going to do. And I don't need the FCC to tell me what the internet needs right now. I'm okay with it being open. Thank you very much. And that's just where I'm at. One guy, one opinion. I could change my opinion, but it's going to be hard for me to change mine on this. So, yes, like look at this. A few months ago, they asked you to leave comments explaining why net neutrality is important to you. Thousands of you delivered. We will continue to share these personal testimonials with more members of the Congress, with the media, and potentially file them in court briefs. Our goal in this effort is to keep the personal dimension of the open internet top of mind for everyone who wants to repeal net neutrality. We know how powerful Redditors banding together for a common cause can be, so our focus will continue to be on amplifying your voices from Capitol Hill to, if it comes to it, the Supreme Court. So please tell us in the comments, how would your life change if internet service providers started blocking or throttling certain internet traffic or creating paid prioritization channels for certain content? So many good comments there. Here's an awesome part on Reddit where a Redditor lists all the times that ISPs have broken net neutrality laws. Look at this. There's nothing hypothetical about what ISPs will do when net neutrality is eliminated. I'm going to steal a comment previously posted by user Scrattybones and reposted here. 2005, Madison River Communications was blocking VoIP services. The FCC put a stop to it. 2005, Comcast was denying access to P2P services without notifying customers, like Napster and Kazaa and things like that. If Bitcoin market cap is superior to the corporations, we can build a new free internet soon. And it is. That's what we've been reporting on, baby. It's getting there. Exactly. And not just the Bitcoin market cap, but other market caps too. They're creeping up on it. So I love this. I'm loving this. 2007 and 2009, AT&T was having Skype and other VoIPs blocked because they didn't like that there was competition for their cell phones. 2011, Metro PCS tried to block all streaming except YouTube. They actually sued the FCC over this. 2011 to 13, AT&T, Sprint, and Verizon were blocking access to Google Wallet because it competed with their BS. Edit, this one literally happened months after the trio were busted collaborating with Google to block apps from the Android marketplace. You see, guys, they've been doing it for a minute. 2012, Verizon was demanding Google block tethering apps on Android because it let owners avoid their $20 tethering fee. This was despite guaranteeing they wouldn't do that as part of a winning bid on an airwaves auction. They were fined $1.25 million over this. 2012, AT&T tried to block access to FaceTime unless customers paid more money. This is what getting rid of net neutrality is going to do again, guys. It's going to allow them to do this for nothing. Like, now there's not going to be any laws holding them back. 2013, Verizon literally stated that the only thing stopping them from favoring some content providers over other providers were the net neutrality rules in place. The foundation of Reason's argument is that net neutrality is unnecessary because we've never had issues without it. I think this timeline shows just how crucial it really is to a free and open internet. See, guys? There it is. There are going to be undercover bribes, backdoor deals going on all the time if that gets repealed. Okay? Next, look at this. Comcast hints at a plan for paid fast lanes after the net neutrality repeal. This came out just yesterday, which was now 19 minutes ago. For years, Comcast is providing that it won't violate the principles of net neutrality, regardless of whether the government imposes any net neutrality rules. This is the one But with Republican Occupy now in charge at the Federal Communications Commission, Comcast changed. While the company says it won't block or throttle internet content, it has dropped its promise about not instituting paid prioritization. Comcast says on Twitter, let's look at it. We do not and will not block, throttle, or discriminate against lawful content. We will continue to make sure that our policies are clear and transparent for customers, and we will not change our commitment to these principles. We won't block, we won't throttle, we'll be transparent. To be clear, Comcast has never offered paid prioritization. We are not offering it today, and we're not considering entering into any paid prioritization, creating fast lane deals with content owners. But in July 2017, they've reversed their stance. The commission, when they offered a filing to the FCC, they're going to say the commission should also bear in mind that a more flexible approach to prioritization may be warranted and may be beneficial to the public. For example, a telepresence service tailored to the hearing impaired requires HD video that is of sufficiently reliable quality to permit users to perceive subtle hand and finger motions in real time, and paid prioritization may have other compelling applications in telemedicine. Likewise, for autonomous vehicles, that may require instantaneous data transmission. Black letter prohibitions on paid prioritization may actually stifle innovation instead of encouraging it. This is like, get out of here. Get out of here. So basically they're trying to say that, it's a good thing. We need to give it and discriminate and give certain people more than others because we don't like giving everybody the same right now. Like, why? You guys are already on the monopoly. We'll see if that ends up remaining true. So, yeah, guys, that's basically it. That's just what I wanted to end up reporting on tonight. Was just some of this stuff here. It's been quite a night, and it's already about 12:30. Because it's so late, I'm gonna hold off on the Discord room just for tonight. But tomorrow night, we'll be back at our regular scheduled time at 10 p.m. Mountain, 5 o'clock Universal. Make sure that you share this. If you got any value out of this discussion tonight, if you had some fun in the chat, and let's get that out there. Let's get the message out there. This should be a nice room for us to be able to come and hang out, chat in, talk about things, and, also have your questions answered about things. So before I let go, I just want to go ahead and end off with a couple affirmations. And so, if you feel like it, repeat after me. I am grateful to be alive at this time. I am grateful to experience all that's in my life awaiting for me and that I already have experienced. I shift my mindset to one of abundance. I am extremely grateful that we have a neutral internet. I am extremely grateful that we aren't prejudicedly prioritized by our internet service providers. I am extremely grateful that I still have the time to call my state representatives and tell them that I have to have this. I am so glad that I can submit those votes more than once. So I'm probably going to be doing it probably once a day. And next, I'm proud to help my friend with their websites and with their cryptocurrencies and with their investments. I am extremely grateful to be able to stream. So with that, those are my affirmations for tonight. If you like that, repeat those, because it helps put us into a great mindset, and it helps us be able to look at these cryptocurrencies and with ourselves and spirituality and the planet in a good way. So it's just a quick way to help us start to open up our hearts and open up our third eyes here. So, yes, guys, I just wanted to say thank you to anybody that watched this tonight. If it weren't for you regulars coming back, being part of the team is what I call it, then I wouldn't have a channel. And if it weren't for you guys sharing this across Twitter and retweeting this and telling your friends to watch it, and if you weren't just exposing this to other people, then my message wouldn't get out there. So thank you. Next, for anybody that's been using my links and has been ultimately getting discounts themselves and also been helping me with some of my funds, thank you. I'm grateful for you. That's helping me trade cryptocurrency full time. Anybody else that donates and supports, thank you so much. And also, just to anybody that continues to watch this, I just really appreciate it, because I wouldn't have any of this type of stuff without you guys. So, hey, yes, Ray, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Yeah, because it's just getting that exposure out there. It's just really something that's relevant, because I feel that there's a lot of content that's being created right now that has a lot of room for more value, is what I'll say. And so with that, we're going to be getting into some other things here soon, such as studies over the art of our internal chemistry, or alchemy, as what they call it. And that's going to be very exciting and very good to be using, because when we're alchemically looking at ourselves and how we're using our funds, then we will be able to see how we can compound these funds, and we can make them stretch further and further and further, and also put them into projects that we care about. I can't wait to help some endangered species. I can't wait to start setting up some donation areas on the channel so that we can get some funds over to people like the Rohingya and in Myanmar, the refugees that are living in camps right now, people in Puerto Rico for rebuilding, people in Venezuela, people in Zimbabwe that need it. Just, there's so many places that we can send this right now. And I think that there will be a point where, we'll need it. And that's just nature. So it'll feel so good to be able to reciprocate that. So anyways, I'm going to get off this stream here. I'm done looking at this Comcast page. So, just blessings to everybody that watched this here tonight. I thank you so much for this. And, we'll be back tomorrow at 10 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So thank you so much. Have a great night, guys.